everybody, it's Iris here, your class librarian, and we're here getting towards the end of your class and you're in crunch time for your final paper project. I've had meetings with several of you, and most people that I've met with just don't really know where to start. So I'm here to reassure you that you have everything in your class that you need to tackle this writing assignment. So let's look at what you have in class. If we go to your class and we go to the modules, if you go down to the Research Help module, you'll see that there's something called the Business Law Research Guide. This has everything you need and walks you through how to complete your final paper project. So let's click on it. I'll show you how it works. So each one of these gray tabs is a page in the guide. And these pages are arranged in this order because that's walking you through the process of research. What is the process of research? On the very first page, you'll see a little research snapshot. So the first thing you need to do, there are only 8 steps. The first thing you need to do is understand your assignment. So in your assignment, you are not picking a law and writing about that law. You are looking at an issue and you are explaining the issue from a legal point of view. And you're going to use laws that have helped shape that issue, have set the precedent for how we deal with that issue as your evidence to support the arguments you want to make. You need to choose a meaningful topic. You need to assess available sources, see if there are enough sources out there for you to work with on your topic. This is the key step. The next 2 steps are where you need to spend most of your time. You've got to do background reading to begin to understand your topic. If you don't understand your topic, you're not going to know how you want to focus it. So for example, let's say you choose the humongously broad topic of climate change. Well, you've got to decide what aspect of climate change you want to focus on. And you have to figure out a legal perspective to use for that focus. I'll show you how you can do that. Once you've done your background reading, you have to create research questions based on what you learned from your background reading and what you want to explore further to tell your story about your topic. The research questions are going to focus you in your research. They're going to let you know what you're looking for before you go out there to try to find it, and they're going to help you create the flow of your paper. The next part is where most people freak out, and this is almost the easiest part. You gather your sources. After you've done your background reading, you know exactly what you want to say in your paper. You have your research questions. Then you go gather sources, your evidence, to support the points you're going to make in your paper. And then, for goodness sakes, save time to read, reflect, write, and revise. You're not going to make a good grade if you just throw it together at the last minute. So let's go back up to the top of the research guide and let's see, topic selection. So each one of these links underneath on the page will take you to a particular box on the page. I've included databases that will help you pick a topic. We've got several of them. So let's click on the Launch button here. This is our Articles and Databases page. You're probably familiar with this top part here, but if you go below, scroll down, you'll see I've linked you directly to the 7 databases that help you pick a topic. Let's look, for example, at CQ Researcher. This is a great database to use for picking a topic and for doing your background reading. So you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. So let's click on CQ Researcher. These are their broad topics that they have here. CQ Researcher is full of research reports. Each one is about 21 pages long, And they go into great detail on your topic. They bring in laws, they bring in research, they bring in all sorts of information to help you really get a good understanding of the issue. So let's say I'm interested in employment and labor. So let's click on employment and labor. Now that's the really broad topic, and then underneath that really broad topic, they've broken it down into some other topics. Let's say I am really interested in unions and labor management relations. I've been hearing in the news lately that labor unions are really necessary to helping our country reestablish a strong middle class. So I'm interested in that. And now these we're getting to titles of reports. And I see one, oh wow, this is really nice and current, January 29th, 2021. Oh, the future of unions. So I click on this story, and now I've got my article. And it's called The Future of Unions, and its focus is, will they revive under the Biden presidency? Here's the article down the middle of the page, the report. Here is the table, here is the table of contents of the article. These articles are great at giving you a really thorough understanding of your topic. They start with an introduction or a hook, like any good speech or writing. They've got an overview, background, current situation, what it's going to look like in the future. They always have a little pro and con section. They give you chronology, short features, a bibliography, which is great to find additional useful resources, contacts and footnotes. They also, along the side, link you to similar articles. So maybe in your union study, you want to focus on worker safety. Well, here's another article on worker safety that you can learn about that aspect and how unions help worker safety. What I recommend you do is print the article. So print the full report and read it very carefully. Highlight, underline, make notes in the margins. If the article raises a question in your mind, write that question down because maybe it's something you want to follow up on in your more in-depth research. So that is CQ Researcher and finding a topic. We have several other topic databases, but once you find your topic, then we're ready to move on to the next step. Let's go back up to the top and go to the next page. The next page is background reading and research questions. This is a super important part of your research. You want to develop and do your background reading to evaluate your topic. Does this topic hold my attention? Is the reading what I expected? Sometimes you have an idea of a topic and you start doing reading on it and you realize, oh, that's not what I thought it would be at all. And then you want to figure out, are there enough appropriate sources to support your project? I believe in your paper you have to have at least 5 academic or professional sources. So you want to make sure you're able to find those, and you're going to find those using the library databases. Your background reading also helps you refine and define your topic. You're starting to see how other researchers and writers engage and talk about your topic. What are the major issues that they're bringing up about your topic? And that'll help you decide on what specific aspect of the topic appeals to you. So you've got to do that background reading. And right here in your class, I have put in sources for background reading. Gale eBooks is my go-to starting place. I love Gale eBooks. It is an online collection of subject-specific encyclopedias. CQ Researcher we already looked at. There's another database called Issues and Controversies, which is really pretty much exactly what it says. It talks about issues and it talks about controversial issues, and they are pro and con articles. Gale Encyclopedia of American Law is wonderful for this class because it is a book about the law, but it's not written for lawyers. It's written for students. It's actually one of our Gale ebooks. If we go in to Gale Encyclopedia of American Law, and let's just look up labor unions, let's see what we get. Oh, look at this. So we see here titles of articles. One thing I like to do is I like to make sure the title of the article looks good, but I want to make sure it's also in an encyclopedia that will be useful for me. And this looks like a great one. So here's an article on labor unions, and it's in the Encyclopedia of the Supreme Court of the United States. I bet you will find out about pertinent cases in that article. Here's another one called Labor Unions Strikes, and it's in the Gale Encyclopedia of Everyday Law. That one's going to be great for you too. Oh, here's another one, Labor Unions Encyclopedia of Business and Finance. That's going to tie the topic into the business world. So you've got the legal angle and you've got the business world right here in Gale eBooks. Again, you're doing your background reading. So what I recommend you do is print the articles and read them very carefully. Again, underlining, highlighting, taking notes in the margins. So that is Gale eBooks. Let's go back up to the top. Creating research questions. Okay, so once you have done your background reading, and I would say for this paper, you probably need to get 4 or 5 background articles, maybe 3 to 5, but you need to have some really good ones to understand your topic and to know where you want to go with it. After you've done that, then you create your research questions. And they really do outline the flow of your paper with a beginning, a middle, and an end. They help you create targeted research queries or questions that you can then quickly find sources on when you go to our other more general databases. And they help you track the sources you've found, those that are going to be really useful for you. So here's how it works, and you can use these as a template. So any paper needs an introduction to put your topic into context and to include your thesis statement. So you have introductory type questions. What are labor unions? When did labor unions begin? Are there different types? Why is this an important issue? You're kind of setting up the context of your paper. Then in the body, which is where you have your analysis and all the points you want to make, you're going to have questions like, what have been the stressors to labor unions? Why have labor unions declined? When did they start their decline? What are the ramifications of decreased strength of labor unions? What laws help guide labor union activity? And then you're going to have concluding questions. Based on my research, this is what I have found. Now, you can take each one of your research questions, write them on a sheet of paper, pick out the key words from that research question, underline them, and use those as your search terms. And then attach all of your articles and reports to the back of each research question that they pertain to. That way, when you have finished going through all of your sheets of paper with each research question on it, and you've got all the research attached to the back, you know you're done with your research. And then you put them in order from introduction, body to conclusion, and you've got the outline of your paper with all of your research right there. So this is a great method for tackling a final research paper. Now, the easy part is taking those research questions and finding additional resources to help you answer those questions. It can fill in gaps that you don't have from your background reading. It can update information that you found in your background reading. And what I've done here is, let's just scroll down to this page. I've made a box here with a link to our library catalog where you can search for ebooks on your topic. And I've also created a link here again to our databases page, but this time instead of linking, so you always have your starting places here for background reading, and you always have our big databases over here. But what I've done below is I've linked you specifically to our 9 databases that are good for business research. And the ones I really recommend for this assignment are Business Source Elite, Nexus Uni, and LegalTrack. Nexus Uni is a great database for finding articles, but it is also a legal database. So you can find law review articles, which are great places to find nice analytical information on legal issues and specific cases. And Business Source Elite is just a great business database that it'll have articles that cover 1,000 different business publications dating back to 1985. So that is the link here in your research guide. Now, the next issue that students kind of freak out about is putting their paper in a correct format. So here I've included a page on Learn to Cite called Learn to Cite, and it's actually more than just learning to cite. You can actually learn how to format your paper. It gives you all the rules you need for formatting your paper. It tells you the elements that you need to have in a student paper. And when you see a blue, that means it's linked to an example or more explanation. It gives you the page order that you need to have. It talks about headings. APA papers need headings to organize it. And then it gives you wonderful sample papers. And I love this sample student paper because it not only shows you exactly what your paper needs to look like. Let's make it a little bigger here. It gives you instructions. So all the green boxes are instructions for writing your paper. And then if you scroll on down, you will actually see, oh, this is what my references need to look like. This is how I need to format my references page. So this sample paper is really amazing. In addition to seeing how to format your paper, you will see how to cite your sources. So I give you the elements that you include in your citations: author, date, title, source, and you can see a little image of it here. And then I give you all sorts of examples of citations that you can click on and see. This is actually a lovely handout that you can print off, and it's from the APA, American Psychological Association, and it gives you examples of different types of citations. And then the last thing, of course, is getting help. And you know, I am here, I am in your class to help you with this assignment. So go ahead, jump in, don't let your deadline catch you by surprise. You're still at a pretty good time now for working on this, but I would say if you wait until next week, you're gonna maybe feel panicked. So please feel free to reach out to me, and please use this research guide. It's right here to help you.